That's a good observation. Okay, so last week filled in this imbalance and sold aggressively. We closed below last 2 weeks candle low, so that's a very good sign of continuous bearish momentum. Okay, from our MT5 is hard to navigate. Okay, you can see that trading the FVG closed nicely below previous week low, so we can expect this week candle to continue being bearish. Like I said, we have long-term draw liquidity here equal lows, but I'm not even looking at this long-term draw. I'm just looking at previous week low as my target. If I'm able to get any possible sales towards previous week low, I'll be happy with it, and I'll be done for the week on jump 25. Now, if you are bearish for the week, what do you expect on the first candle or the first 2 days within the week? What do you expect if you are bearish for the week?
Accumulation.
Okay, so we can expect a power of 3. You can see that all these candle they have wick on top. Okay, so they open, push up, and then they sell. They open, push above the opening price, they sell. Open here, push above opening price, sell. Open here, push above opening price, sell. Open here, push above opening price, they sell. So that's how all these wicks are being created. So we can expect this to behave the same way as it has opened. The first one, first day, and then the second day may possibly be a counter push to trick people to buy, and then price will stop dumping on them from Wednesday. Sometimes, on Tuesday, sometimes Monday, price will stop dumping. So normally the first day of the week might be a counter push, and then the second and then subsequent days may give you the actual move. Okay. So there is a power of 3 that we are expecting. And like one of you said, if you go to the lower time frame, you might find PDR raise that price is trying to mitigate before the push down. Okay. So we first of all identify that this weekly candle might be a bearish candle. And so that is all you should be looking for. Okay. If you have a clear weekly bias, you stick with it until you are wrong. There are times that the weekly bias is not going to be clear, and you may go for the daily chart to look for daily bias. But if you have a clear weekly bias, you stick with it throughout the week, waiting for your setup to form. You get a perfect hit, you hold it, and have maximum advantage on it. Okay. So this week we are looking for sales on jump 25, according to our weekly forecast. Now we're gonna go down to lower time frame to identify possible PDR raise price may wanna mitigate before selling. Okay. So let's go to the daily chart. Okay. Coming down to the daily chart, you can see there was manipulation of this swing high into the weekly fair value gap, an aggressive sell-off, shifting market structure here, okay, and then here. So that's very nice. And then if I take the Fibonacci from high to low, you can see that 50% is here. And within 50% of that range is this beautiful fair value gap. And then this consecutive up close candles order block. And we have this breaker block as well. So this whole area, 50% of that range is stacked with PDRs. Okay. It is stacked with a lot of PDRs. Fair value gap, consecutive up close order block. And then this candle is a breaker. Okay. So we are looking for sales around this area, this whole area. So I'll focus on the breaker paired with the FVG. Okay. So you can see that yesterday price tapped into it and rejected. Okay. And yesterday and then the weekly candle. So today we have a new candle that has opened and we are having a power of 3. So the power of 3, we open the weekly here and we are pushing up. Price may seek buy side or possible PDRs to then return. So either price will just mitigate this wick and then start selling. You have a question? Okay, so either price is going to mitigate this wick on the daily chart. So wicks are also gaps, okay? And look at how yesterday candle closed, very, very strong close to the downside. So price is either going to mitigate this wick and reject and start selling aggressively tomorrow to attack previous week low, or price may want to take this short-term high before selling. Okay. Let me see. Okay, so did any one of you wanted to say something? Okay, if not, let's continue. So we are expecting tomorrow price to start. We are expecting price to start selling from tomorrow, as today is having the power of the way. Okay, so for the daily chart, this is the PDRA that I see this week, long tail right here. I'm expecting it to be filled to start selling, or price can yet still come for the high before selling. Okay, so let's look into that week on the 4 hour and then the 1 hour to see what is there. Okay, looking into that week on the 4 hour, we can see there is a rejection block there. Okay, there is a rejection block right here. From that rejection block, we took this swing low. Okay, so price may respect this rejection block, or we may sweep that high before selling. Whatever happened, we are not looking for the setup today. Today is a power of 3, and we start looking for ourselves tomorrow. So either you are going to respect this week or sweep this week, and tomorrow you are going to sell. So if tomorrow you are going to look for sales, it means you are going to look for a daily bearish power of 3. Okay, so whatever happens today, we expect tomorrow to open, trick people to the upside, and start dumping to the downside. Okay, so either we respect this rejection block to sell, or price will sweep that high into this consecutive up close candles here. I don't know. I think we already tapped into it. Yeah, we've already tapped into the first guy. Okay, so and that's how we form the rejection block. So price may sell from this rejection block. Okay, so we are looking for sales, and a possible PDRA is from here, or buy side to then still sell. Okay, so whatever happened, we are not focusing on this 4 hour bullish structure. What I'll be waiting for is for structure to align bearish for us to start selling. And with this one, we can use the 1 hour. If the 1 hour starts aligning bearish, you can start selling. Okay. Yeah, so this whole level is a beautiful 1 hour level, huge fair value gap, bearish order block, swing high as liquidity. We swept that swing high to fill in the FVG, tap into the order block. You can see from this level, we broke below so many lows, this low, and then this low. Okay. And that was after we tap into the order block here. The ash area is the 4 hour order block. The blue area is the weekly breaker block. Okay. And that whole area is a 50% level of the daily range. Okay, so if the 1 hour starts shifting bearish from here, tomorrow we may start looking for sales. Okay, we want to see aggressive breakdown, leaving bearish fair value gaps, whilst disrespecting bullish PDRs. Then we can start looking for sales. And like I said, our first target will be the previous week low right here. Even though we have a long-term target all the way down, our first target will be here. And if price continues to blow through that low aggressively, we may look for other setups to take it all the way to the long-term draw on liquidity. So that's a simple analysis for Jam 25. And like I said, once we've determined our weekly bias, we are not going to follow this bullishness, okay? We are not going to be tricked in buying this bullish price action. All we are waiting for is price to align with our higher time frame analysis. And we are going to jump on, we are going to hold our trade all the way to previous week low. And that will be a lot of profit. At this point, if you have any question, you can ask.
Yes, bro, I want to say something. I don't know if...
Go ahead.
Yes, from that chart, from the 4 hour chart.
Okay, so there's the 4 hour.
Yes, from the 4 hour after tapping the consecutive, how do you call it? The consecutive.
Just say 50%. 50%. I think you'll be better off just saying 50%.
Fair value gap downside. So, for me, this is what I think. If I'm wrong, maybe you can correct me. So, for me, the probability for the buy side liquidity to be taken is higher.
Yeah,
This is what I think.
That can happen, but all the same, even if we take liquidity and we still reject and do not close above that high, this rejection block is still being respected. When it comes to rejection block, the high can be taken and it's still valid to be used as a rejection block.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, as long as we don't, for example, here we have this rejection block right there. Long as we don't close below that rejection block, it doesn't matter if we pierce it or manipulate it, it is still a valid area. Depending on your narrative, it's still a valid area. So price can sweep that high, whatever happened, we'll be looking for sales. Either we sweep, or if we don't sweep and we start breaking down, we are still looking for sales.
Okay.
When it comes to rejection block, it's okay. Price can yet sweep the high and we are still valid with our analysis. If only we don't close above. Okay, so that's what we have for Jam 25. We have a clear weekly bias. Okay, very, very clear. We have a very nice push to premium of the range. Going down to the daily, you see that price has come to premium, breaker block, fair value gap, other blocks. We had prior manipulation into a weekly fair value gap and broke down. So we are in premium. Yesterday candle was beautifully bearish.
Hello.
So yeah, go ahead.
Hello, coach, please. I don't know. I wanted to ask that. How come, like this daily that you are showing now, how come I'm not tracking this? The whole thing that happens in this place, if I had tracked that, the rejection block blowing into the fair value gap and making the, as in, it's following CRT there, that's a perfect CRT. I would have killed this. How come I'm not seeing it? How can you help? How can I be seeing things like this?
Which CRT?
That white, that black candle.
This one.
That weak ink, yes. That no, up.
Yeah.
Up. Yes, that black candle that weak into that fair value gap. That's a perfect CRT.
Yeah.
It will not.
So
the whole thing will come down to that bearish. All this bearish you are seeing is as a result of that into a fair value gap.
Yeah.
So strongly. How can we be catching this kind of things, sir?
You can. So let's say you saw price, you've marked your weekly fair value gap here, and price, you see price. Let me cover this part of the chart.
Okay, sir.
Let's say you don't see the fair, what do you call it? The bearish candle yet.
The bearish candle, yes.
Let's say I'm trying to cover it, but I don't know how. Yeah, let's say you only see this bullish candle that has entered the weekly fair value gap. If you are trying to catch an early entry, you can expect
absolutely.
You can expect this previous, the first candle that entered the fair value gap. You can expect a sweep on it, and once you see that candle being swept, you can go down to the 1 hour to look for confirmations, and then if you see the 1 hour breaking structure to the downside, you can start selling from there. But trust me, sometimes these entries are very, very early and it will not play out perfectly, just like you are seeing here.
Yes.
Okay. So if you want to do it and do it perfectly, I think what you can do is the 4 hour. So this is a weekly fair value gap, and if you are using the proper time frame alignment, the proper entry confirmation should be on the 4 hour. Okay, since we are delivering from a weekly fair value gap. So since it's a weekly, you then go to the 4 hour to wait for some form of market structure shift. Okay, so coming down to the 4 hour, it was just so perfect. Okay, consider we took the previous day high. We also had perfect equal highs right there. An aggressive breakdown, aggressive sell-off. You can see that it was from this low that we took the high. So as we shift that low, that's a market structure shift. And that level also becomes a breaker. Okay. It's a rejection block and it becomes a breaker. Pair with the fair value gap. We come into the fair value gap. That's a perfect sell. You can reconfirm this entry on M15 or H1 and you could have caught that beautiful trade. Okay.
Ah, my goodness. My goodness.
I also think if in this 4 hour, if you look at the fair value gap, you see 4 hour order block on your left.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, on the left. On the left.
Here.
Yes. Keep going. The other block itself. Yes, that's white.
This one. Yeah. So this is another entry you could have if you miss.
No, not this one. Not this one. Sorry. You know the daily fair value gap.
Yeah. This is a 4 hour chart.
Yeah, it's a 4 hour chart. Yes. So when you came down to the 4 hour, if you go to the left completely, you will see inside that daily fair value gap there is a doji candle.
This candle.
No, in the fair value gap itself, inside the fair value gap.
Oh, okay. Inside here. Oh, okay. Yeah. Normally, higher time frame fair value gaps. If you go to the lower time frame, you're going to see other blocks within it. Normally. Yeah. Normally, you're going to see that.
Keep going to the left. Let me show you.
This, and then this, right? These two.
The last one, that's white candle.
This one. Yeah.
Yes. If you want it out, that's where exactly that thing.
Yeah, so I think I recorded a video, a lesson on how to use fair value gaps efficiently, and I think it was on the daily. And I said, if you mark a daily fair value gap, grade it into quadrants, and then above 25%, you may find other blocks or indecision candles, and that will be where price will react from. I don't know if you guys watched that video.
Yeah, I have the video. I remember you did.
Yeah. So if you mark a big imbalance, so that's a huge weekly imbalance right here. Okay. This is MT5, so I can't grade it into quadrants. But if you grade this into quadrants and you go to the lower time frame, H4 and H1, definitely you're gonna have an order block resting above 25% of the range. So around here will be 25%. And from here will be 25 to like 50%. From here will be 50 to like 75. And here will be 75 to 100%. So above 25%, you look for any other block that is there. You can refine the whole area to that lower time frame level. And that's where you look for setups. And that's it. You can see price came into the 4 hour level and gave a perfect reaction. Let me go back to the 4 hour. You can see that MT5 is not comfortable to use at all.
It's not at all.
I wish they could have added the weekly chart to trading view. That would have been very, very nice.
Yes, exactly. It would have been perfect.
Yeah. So yeah, here you can see that the 4 hour order block, perfect, resting above 25% of the weekly fair value gap. You could have refined the whole area to this 4 hour, and since now you are working with the 4 hour level, you can then use the 1 hour to confirm this entry. So this is how you can go deep down from your higher time frame. Okay, it's all about refinement, but you should know how to refine these levels. Okay, you should know how to refine, just like this daily fair value gap. If you look into this daily fair value gap on the 4 hour, then you start looking for PDRAs resting within it. Okay, and the only clean PDRA that was resting is this 4 hour order block with fair value gap. And that's where we had a perfect reaction. So you refine it to the 4 hour, you can then confirm this entry on the M15, and you don't need to wait on the 1 hour again. So you can do these refinements. Okay, so if you've not watched that video, revisit that video and watch it. How to use these fair value gaps efficiently. So we're looking for sales tomorrow. So let's go to jump 10. Okay, jump 10. I think the target that I would have loved to um, buy into has already been hit just today. Okay. Ideally, I would have loved to buy towards the previous week high. And that previous week high has been taken already. Now, this is very, very tricky because this is just the first day within the week. And you can see that we didn't create any wick below the weekly candle. We just opened and then boom, shot straight up to the previous week high. So this whole thing you're seeing could be a bearish power of 3. You may never know. You can see that price has been slowing down a couple of days. Even though we respected this clean fair value gap here. But price is not moving with a lot of strength. But I'm not predicting that price is gonna reverse. That's one thing you should avoid doing. Don't be predicting the top or the bottom of a trend. You wait.
That's one of my problems.
Yeah, you wait for clarity. Okay. So yeah, even though I am bullish, but what I would have loved to buy to target has already been met just today. Okay. Today's candle is crazy. It's expanding really, really fast. But like I said, we've not yet had any power of 3 to the downside. Okay. So this could be manipulation and price will reject all the way back within this candle range before pushing up again. So you gotta be careful. You shouldn't be buying at the top. Okay. So let's go to the daily chart to see what we can find. Okay, so the daily is very, very bullish, just like the weekly. Respecting bullish PDRs. We have this clean fair value gap that was respected. So like I said, you don't want to be buying here at the top here. Okay. You want to be buying from discount and price has already moved away. So we want to wait to see tomorrow and then Tuesday for possible discount of opportunities. Price may retrace all the way back to this daily rejection block. That can happen. Very, very possible. Then maybe we get some possible buys. But you don't want to be buying at the top. Let me go to the 4-hour to see. Okay. So looking at the 4-hour, that rejection block has a nice fair value gap just around it. Okay. So that could be a possible retracement point before we look for bullish continuation. So I would really love to see some rejections tomorrow. Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So I really like to see some possible rejections from tomorrow. Towards discount. If not tomorrow, then Tuesday or Wednesday, price may start to retrace before going up again. And if you get a clean structure, if it start,
that place aligns with an inversion fair value gap also.
Yeah, and also a breaker block right there. So it's a very nice area. Very nice area. So that would be the perfect area to look for buys. So, and ideally, I would like to see price filling fully this fair value gap, so that at least it can wick below this 4-hour candle, because that's where the weekly candle opened. Okay. So if price is able to wick below the opening, then we may get a wick below the weekly candle for a power of 3 before continuation. And even below the opening price, we have this little fair value gap or so and other block. So from tomorrow, if I start seeing 1 hour strong shift to the downside, strong impulse to the downside, I may consider taking some counter trend trade. Okay. I'm only thinking of the counter trend trade because price is way above the opening price. We've taken previous week high. That's huge liquidity. So this previous week candle was an indecision candle. Okay. So liquidity was resting below and then at the high. And we've taken the liquidity up at the top. And we have discount PDRAs to mitigate. And what again? And we've not also had the power of the way to push up. So this could be an initial manipulation and then a push down before a push up. So like I said, if I start getting anyone strong, the what I need to see is strong impulses to the downside. Okay, that's the adjective. So because I know I'm going against a higher time frame wind, okay, or wave, and you gotta be very, very careful because price can just keep blowing to the upside. So like I said, I'm not trying to predict the top. I know we are bullish, but if price rejects this high today, I want to see how this candle closes today. I would like to see price closing below that high, this daily candle closing below that high. And then tomorrow, start seeing some strong 1 hour momentum to the downside. Now, I may consider the counter trend. Maybe a quick 1 or 2, and I'll be out. And then when price comes into discount, I'll start looking for possible buys. Very, very simple. Okay, very simple. Let's check the 75 one is. The 75 one is the past weeks has been a little bit tough. Price has been consolidating. But overall, if you're looking at price, we can see that we've had a manipulation on that high. And before manipulating that high, price consolidated below that high. So a lot of liquidity was built up above that high. So support and resistance traders will see this rejection, they start selling, they get taken out. They see this bearish candle, they start selling, they get taken out. They see this indecision candle selling, they get taken out. So a lot of liquidity has been gathered above here, was generated and gathered above here. And then they took them all out and broke down aggressively. So, but the same thing, we also have a lot of liquidity that was resting below here, equal lows, a lot of them. Okay, relative equal lows, and we swept all of them. And once again, price is also pushing up. Consider after taking buy side, we entered this rejection block. And then if you're looking at long term, not even long term, for an intermediate term, price has been going down for a while. Okay. And price has come back to take some buy side liquidity into this rejection block. Consider that zone was never mitigated. And for what I see this bearish order block. You can see there was a fair value gap here. The price failed in. Just like we were seeing on Jam 25. Okay. We filled that fair value gap, aggressively broke down. We closed below previous week, that week low. And the following week came into the order block, rejected. Another weekly candle, deep into the order block, rejected. Ideally, this last week candle should have been a bearish candle to sell, to then fill in this fair value gap. But I decided not to do so, and look at how it closed. Strong rejection. It just liquidated the low. Let me see. It didn't take the low, it just created equal lows. It just created equal lows right here and rejected. So right now it's difficult to determine where price will go. But for the short term, I'm thinking that the weekly objective for me will be this swing high right here. Okay. Looking at how yesterday, last week candle closed. Short term, I'm just looking at this high, nothing much. And if I can get any possible buys towards that high, I'll be very, very happy. So I'm projecting a possible sweep of that high into this rejection block. And maybe next week or the coming weeks may go down to take that swing, equal lows that has been built to possibly fill in this fair value gap. But that's a very, very long term analysis. So for the short term, I'm just looking at a possible sweep on this high, just looking at how last week candle closed. It's very, very easy to predict that this weekly candle may go up, just looking at last week candle. Okay. And it's also very likely that after taking that high, they will start rejecting. So we may look for buys towards it, and after price take the high, and we get possible bearish confirmation, then we look for sells to maybe fill in 50% of this tail. Okay. Look, I don't think this week alone can go all the way up here and come all the way down here. Okay, so you're gonna just take it bit by bit. We buy towards the high. When it gets bearish confirmation, we sell towards maybe 25% or 50% of this week, and that would be all. Because overall, around here, price is just consolidating. So I think power of three may have formed already. You can see we open here, came all the way down, and now we are rejecting. So that may be the power of three. I would have loved to see price come to the rejection block before buying, but price failed to get to the rejection block. Maybe tomorrow we may sweep previous day's low into the rejection block before buying. But let me check the daily to see the possibilities that can happen tomorrow. Yeah, so today's candle is forming an indecision candle. That will mean that we are going to leave behind this fair value gap. Okay. And if this candle ends in this indecisive like it is forming, then there will be a higher chance that tomorrow price may come into this fair value gap. And then this black line that I mark is the rejection block on the daily chart. And go back. Rejection block on the weekly chart. Okay, right there. So if the daily candle forms indecision candle, leave behind the daily FVG, price taps into the rejection block here, into the daily FVG. That would be a nice setup, okay? And that would be a very, very nice setup. So, and this fair value gap will be paired with this breakout block here. Okay. And then we'll be looking for buys towards previous week high. Very, very simple setup. Very simple setup. One thing can also happen. Price may open tomorrow and shoot straight towards buy side liquidity. And then Tuesday, price may start selling to fill in this fair value gap. So either price will take the buy side first before coming to fill in, or price will fill in the gap before taking buy side first. Okay. So whatever happens, if we get here first, we look for buys towards buy side. If price gets to buy side first, then we look for sales towards imbalance. Okay. So the best scenario will be price filling in the imbalance, tapping into the weekly rejection block, the black line, before shooting for the buy side liquidity. So tomorrow I'll be anticipating price coming down before going up. And trust me, if we get this scenario, we are going to get a very, very nice setup. Yeah. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. So that's it for the 7500. If you have any questions, you can ask. So I think that after previous week high, so price may tap into the rejection block here. And then price may sell, filling the imbalances here, rejects a little bit to the upside after filling in the imbalances, and then still continue on to the downside to target the equal lows that it has built here.
Yeah, this big 75s, I've lost a lot of money to this week, especially between yesterday and today. Yeah. I've been trying to sell from, if you go to the 4 hours, you see the other block that it just took out. I was trying to sell from there, but you see that price moved down a bit and then kept going up again.
Yeah. So the higher time frames, when they are consolidating like that, it's not easy to navigate your way through price. It should have been a nice order block. Okay, it's the last one within this leg, so we got disrespected.
Because what I was thinking was there were equal lows on that 4 hours at the end. Equal lows. So I was thinking if the price I want to enter the other block, then go for the equal lows.
Okay, so we're expecting this buys tomorrow, and looking at the 4 hour, this black line again is the weekly rejection block. This blue line is the possible fair value gap being formed on the daily chart, this blue box. And on the 4 hour, we have this fair value gap paired with an order block. So that's a perfect area as well. It's a nested zone. On the left side, we have this breaker or mitigation block, whatever you want to call it. So let's see if tomorrow price can manipulate to form a power of 3 to the downside, and then we start buying towards the buy side liquidity. We have perfect equal highs right here. Okay. Those these equal highs right here are just perfect. They can be targeted. So that's it for 75 minutes. That's our weekly forecast. Let's check this 101s. With 101s, looking at this chart, what can you expect that this weekly candle will do? Minimum, like the nearest draw on liquidity will be what? Looking at this chart, the weekly chart, what do you see and what do you think?
It's a fair value gap.
Okay, so overall price is bearish. Okay, price is bearish overall. Price filled in this fair value gap, and then right here there is a daily level that price hits. Strong rejection to the downside. So we are bearish overall. We are inside a bearish weekly fair value gap. We took previous week high with aggressive rejection to the downside. So I'm expecting this weekly candle, if not, it's going even if it's not gonna be entirely bearish, minimum I'm expecting at least a possible push to the downside to clear this previous week low and then last 2 weeks low. Okay, these two candles, they are relative equal lows. So a lot of liquidity will be resting below previous week low and then last 2 weeks low. And last 2 weeks low opens into this small fair value gap down here. So minimum, I'm expecting this weekly candle to trade into that fair value gap. Okay. Whether it will buy after hitting it or not, I don't know. But I'm forecasting and preparing myself to look for sales towards it. Okay. And then when it gets there, then I'll watch to see what happens. So yeah, if you are looking for sales, it's likely we may expect a power of 3 where we push above opening price to trick everybody that price is going to be bullish, and then price will dump on them. Okay, so we are getting the power of 3 today, and probably it's filling in some levels here. So let's check the daily. Yeah, so if you check the daily, we don't have any fair value gap here, but we have the order block. So the order block was tapped a little bit by this candle and sold. So we could be having an immediate rebalance here to continue bearish. So immediate rebalance. Okay, after a huge candle, we expect the next candle to leave a gap. If the next candle does not leave a gap and it trades right to the previous candle low, that's an immediate rebalance. And as ICT teaches, we can expect immediate reaction, just like here. Tap into a fair value gap, huge candle. We would expect this candle to also sell aggressively to leave a gap. If we open and we don't sell right away, but price starts pushing up to previous candle, the low that could have formed the FVG, if you push to it, that's an immediate rebalance, and price should immediately reject. That's why you saw that rejection and you sold. Okay. He should only use it when price had just formed a strong bearish candle or a bullish candle. So we could have an immediate rebalance here, or possibly price may yet still come back into the daily order block. But on the 4 hour, we may find some PDRAs on the 4 hour. Let's see. We may find some 4 hour. On the 4 hour, within current leg from here to here, we don't have any fair value gap. But I think price may fill in 50% of this wick or 25% of that wick. Okay, for the possible sales. So I'll be looking for sales tomorrow. Even today, I was looking for sales, but price came back to take me out I was selling after this immediate rebalance. I think I shared the setup on the platform. I was trying to sell from that immediate rebalance. I had a little rejection to the downside and it came back for my stop. So tomorrow I'll be looking for sales, possibly after price taps into 50% of that 4-hour wick. I wouldn't like to see price coming all the way back to this fair value gaps before coming to this level. Okay, price is very, very close to this level, and I think you should seek it first before pushing up. If price wants to push all the way up, then I'll be careful with my sales, because at that time, by the time price gets here, the 4-hour may have been established very, very bullish. So I'll be looking for sales on this 100 runners to target this relative equal lows. Okay, yeah, relative equal lows, trend line lows. Okay, and here these two candles are also relative equal lows. So many equal lows, and then these two candles are also equal lows. So tomorrow I'll be looking for sales. As simple as that. Let me go to the 1 hour. We may find something. I like to see fair value gaps. Okay, so yeah, on the 1 hour we have this clean order block resting at 50% of the 4-hour fair value gap, and we have this fair value gap as well, and we have this buy side liquidity being swept into it. So we should start seeing some rejections from there. But we still have level on top. So we have something we call level on top of a level. Okay. On top of this order block is this rejection block as well. So price can as well disrespect the order block and come into that 1 hour rejection block.
I think in most cases, it usually will disrespect it. Just give it reaction.
Yeah, it can happen. So just be aware of these levels, and all we are looking for right now, the 1 hour is bullish. So as we tap into these levels, we want to see the 1 hour turning bearish, creating bearish fair value gaps, and we start looking for sales towards our levels. Very, very simple. Okay, let's check with 51s. With 51s, I'm looking for sales. You can see we've taken buy side liquidity into a huge fair value gap on the weekly chart. You can see there's a bearish leg, and we've come into 50% of that leg. From that high to this low, you can see, okay, we didn't reach 50%. So it's possible that price may respect this bullish fair value gap to then push back to 50%. But I wouldn't force any buys as price enters here. I'll just be watching for the reaction. But for now, short term, I'm looking for sales into that fair value gap here. Okay, we've not yet tapped into it. Let me see. Yeah, we've not yet tapped into the weekly fair value gap. So I'm looking for sales towards this fair value gap. And I think we have a CRT candle here. We have this huge candle. And then this candle and this candle are inside bar candles. Okay, so this mother bar has a lot of liquidity up and down. Okay, and then the low of the mother bar also opens into an FVG. So yeah, price could have a possible reaction after taking the low into the FVG. Price could have a possible reaction. But first of all, I'm looking for sales towards that level because a lot of liquidity is resting there. And then when price gets here, I'll look for the reactions. Okay. So let's see what is happening on lower time frames. So the daily charts, price is bearish, respecting bearish PDRAs after sweeping equal highs into the weekly fair value gap. Breakdown, fair value gap respected, breaking down. So right now on the daily, I don't see any clean PDRAs. What I see is this. Last week I was expecting price to buy from here, but you can see consolidated around the whole area as if it was pushing up and it dumped on this. So maybe price can come and retest that fair value gap as an IFVG. But looking at how close price is to the draw on liquidity, I think we may tap into this area first before pushing back up to the inverted fair value gap. So I'm looking for sales towards this. So let's check the 4-hour. Yeah, so looking at the 4-hour, we have this 4-hour fair value gaps. But it's also possible that price may come into the IFVG first before dumping down. But we should start monitoring this 4-hour fair value gap tomorrow to look for possible sales towards this area. Okay, and I can see consolidation, so accumulation, then we manipulate into the FVG, then we sell to here. And then maybe after price comes here, consolidate, manipulate to the downside, then price may push up before maybe continuing down or still continuing up. I don't know about that. So you take it level by level, step by step, and yeah, just navigate your way through price like that. So I'll be looking for sales from that 4-hour fair value gap. If it gets respected, I'll move to the next fair value gap. Okay, so I have this paired with a rejection block. So let's say that's a breaker block. Okay, so maybe we'll tap into the body of the rejection block and then fill in the gap and then come here. So I'll be looking for sales on this 51S tomorrow. Okay. Very, very simple. With 10-1S, with 10-1S, we also have with 10-1S took us out this evening. So we have CRT on the weekly chart and also CRT on the daily chart. Interesting. So one thing is we have this mother bar candle followed by inside bar. That's for the weekly chart. If you go to the daily chart, you also have CRT, mother bar, inside bar, and we are sweeping the high. Okay, so let's see what we can do with it. Okay. So overall, we are bearish. Price is bearish. I don't know if price may get into this fair value gap anytime soon. I can't tell. But for now, what I know is price is respecting this rejection candle. This wicks are gaps and they can be filled 25% and reject or 50% and reject. So for what I know, this is the PDRA that price is failing to break at the moment. And we are overall bearish. And we have overall bearish, and we have our weekly CRT high. So we have our weekly CRT high and our weekly CRT low. Okay, so we are yet to take the weekly CRT high, but for the daily, so I think that the reason why price is still pushing up after taking the daily is because of the weekly CRT. So there is bigger liquidity resting on this weekly mother bar. So I think that's the reason why price is still pushing, even though it cleared the daily CRT high. So yeah, I think that's the reason why. So obviously, we just blew through it and it's still pushing up. So price may liquidate the weekly CRT high before maybe pushing to the downside a little bit. So yeah, I'd like to see price taking that high. And then after that, we can get some M15 scalp maybe into this order block. Okay. Yeah. So that's what I'll be watching. We go to the 4-hour. That's perfect equal highs. Okay. And on the left side, okay, we don't have, I think we have this little imbalance. And then some little order block there. Okay, so Price may take the CRT high on the weekly chart into that level and then possibly give us some 15 minutes entry towards discounts, probably before buying again. Okay. Overall, we are bullish, but this setup framing is solely based on CRT, okay, candle range theory. And for my experience, I've realized that mother bars with inside bars, normally when they are swept, they give some reaction. Even if it is against the overall higher time frame move, you are still gonna get some reaction before continuation of that higher time frame move. So I'll be waiting to catch a short-term reversal from there back to the daily order block. Okay, using the M15. So tomorrow might give us that possible entry. Okay, so we'll be watching price from there. And after that, if we tap here, we get our bullish confirmation, we may look for buys. Right now, the daily is respecting bullish PDRAs. Bearish PDRAs are being disrespected, whilst bullish PDRAs are being respected. Respected this one, and we are pushing up. So that's it for this 10-1. Let's see what tomorrow will give us. At first, I stopped trading on Sundays. It was just recently that I started trading on Sundays again, because Sundays are it's like your first daily candle within the week, and you want to be watching that to validate your weekly forecast. Okay, because Sundays can go opposite to whatever you're anticipating. So you can just relax, rest, watch how the Sunday candle closes, and you see how it can fit into your weekly forecast. I'm very bearish on this 10. This is 10. We respected this bullish fair value gap, though, and pushed up aggressively. And price is now respecting this bearish fair value gap. And look at how the candle ended last week. We had equal highs here, these two weekly candle highs. We swept it all, and we had a massive rejection. So you can see price is filling in this wick, and I'm looking for a possible sell to sweep previous week low, or let's say what do you call it, that rejection block down there. So that's a rejection block. So price, please mute yourselves. So possible sells towards a rejection block. So once again, we are having a possible bearish power of 3, push up to push down. So I'm looking for sells. Now let's go to the daily to look for PDRAs. Now on the daily, what do we see? We see that these highs were swept, equal highs, into the weekly fair value gap. Massive rejection. See yesterday's candle, massive. Okay. And we are kind of having a power of 3 to then go down. We have this rejection block paired with this low. So like they are relative equal lows. So my target for this week on this 10 is this level. Let's go to the 4-hour. On the 4-hour, what do you see? You see bearish order flow being established. We started respecting bearish fair value gap even before we broke structure. So you created this, after tapping into the weekly fair value gap, created this bearish H4 FVG, respected it, aggressive push to the downside, shifting structure bearish here. This is the decision point, okay, these order blocks, and they are paired with fair value gap. and also this is a breaker block. So this whole area is a nice area to look for sales. So as you can see, price came into the order block on the 4-hour and rejected. So that's why I sent this sell signal on this 10. But like I said, on Sundays, price may want to go against your whole narrative before moving towards that narrative that you've speculated. So price gave us some profit and it's pushing back against us. So the reason why I sent the sell signal on this 10 was because of what I'm just showing you. So on the 1 hour, we had bearish confirmation, swept this high, tap into this order block, and fair value gap pair with other blocks here. Broke structure again, formed this fair value gap, and that was where I asked her to sell according to the signal. And right now I've been stopped out at break even. So yeah, price didn't even get to my TP1. My TP1 was here. But I'll still be looking for sales from tomorrow. The narrative is still very it's still valid. So we've been stopped out. One thing about trade management, I may not get the time to be updating you. Go break even or reduce stop loss. Charlie, you are also a trader, and you should be sharp with your own money management. Okay, because you may not be right all the time, but once you see that price has respected the PDRA and it has broken a new structure, you shouldn't wait for me to come and tell you to reduce the stop loss or to reduce the stop loss or to go break even. For me, I don't go break even very, very fast. I'll first reduce in the initial signals to sell from this fair value gap with stop loss here. Okay. But as you see that you've broken this new low, you should be smart enough to move the stop loss to the recent high. Okay. The recent high. Without me telling you, because I may not get the time to update you, do that. So that's why you're also a trader.